Anyway, having a blast with it. I did notice this as well. This was put in there by, who was it in our Discord that put this in here? Let's see here. Oh, look at this DG section. Oh, this is our new member here, Manny. Let's hear it for Manny for becoming an algorithm and being on the Wall of Fame, by the way. Thank you, Manny. Wall of Fame members here. We're starting to build back up, which is nice. If you'd like to become a Wall of Fame member, this is the beginning of the credits of all the highlights for our streams, and your name is immortalized on the wall. I would like to thank everybody who is a Wall of Famer. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. You mean a lot to me. Thank you. So Manny posted this in the look at this area, and what's Stunner says, it's funny, but you used to watch peeps streaming SC and being shocked by running into another player. Now there are always other players in the background when peeps stream. Yeah, dude, like I just think there's such an influx of new members, and this chart really shows it here. See, Stunner? I mean, my God, look at where we're at right now. 70 million in funding, and we are just now at the end of June going into July with 5 more months. Look at June in the past. I mean, like, we are blowing away June by about $15 million. That is crazy. Yes, can I get an amen? Yes. I'm fine with this. I love this. People get mad when like you get excited about this stuff. This is the real world business. This represents real people getting paid, who have families and kids. And I don't think Star Citizen content creators understand this. You see a lot of Star Citizen takes from larger content creators included that like will say so many negative things about the amount of money that they're bringing in. And I never really understood that. If you're a shareholder of a company and they report good earnings, like Nike tonight. Congratulations to people. So far, so good. But anyway, and they're having good earnings, and they're good people, and it's going the right direction, and you want the project to become a reality. You see a lot of people that get really upset when Cloud Imperium's bringing in money, and that is so like does not make any sense to me. It is so off base and such a bad take for people to really view this as a negative. I think something could actually be mentally wrong with them. I think something could be broken in them, or like all the rationale to hate somebody that's being successful with their revenues in terms of what they're bringing in to make something they want to become a reality, and then for people to monetize and hate on it. The only sense that I can make out of it is that the people that push these narratives are literally clickbaiting for money. So they're hating on a company that they've followed that supports them financially, by the way, because they're covering it and they're monetized on YouTube, and they're hating on it to make income, at the same time chastising the company that's helping them propel their own profession. It makes, like, it's good to be critical. It's good to be constructive in the criticism. Yes. From all accounts, and my personal experience with this project, me playing this game, I'm having fun. I shouldn't, or you shouldn't, have to feel bad for having fun. What's up, Gator? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. It seriously makes no sense. The only way it makes sense to me is that they are stars, and by they I mean Star Citizen content creators that continually go after a negative narrative, like no good. I am not including Star Citizen content creators that have a balanced approach. I like Space Tomato. Hell, even Salty Mike like understands a project but tends to go a little negative. You know what I mean? But I mean, at least he's sort of constructive from time to time. Montoya can be like super white knight, but I enjoy the passion from him. I like people like Loud Guns. I like people like Ferrister. I like people that make content that's entertaining. Of course, the Eradicator, of course, Info Runners, because they're just so into ships and they really break down ship reviews, which I really love. So there's a lot of channels out there that I'm very fond of, and content creators that I think approach this somewhat rationally. But there's a large portion of the content creation area in Star Citizen that take negative narratives on the regular, and I think that you guys know who they are. I won't say them. I don't want to be a guy who's just persecuting people. I just want to mention the fact that this is the only reason that I can imagine when you're looking at this chart to take this as a negative is if you literally are getting paid for clickbait. I didn't say that, Diva. But you guys know who they are, right? And they get upset because A, they probably spent too much money on it that they couldn't afford, right? It wasn't discretionary. Or B, they're upset because it's taken so long and they want it faster and they just don't understand the scale and they don't get it. Or C, there are constructive criticisms about the management and the real life model. But, you know, on the other hand, when you're looking at this, how can you really like look at this negatively and say that there's something wrong with the management? This is another record year of revenue. I'm not quite sure about the expenses right now, but I know they're cutting. They've cut the LA offices. They've cut a few jobs. They're leaning up a little bit. And this is what happens in a business. You get huge expansion and contraction. And I did say at the end of 2024, going into the new year, I said, well, I thought, you guys remember this? I said, I thought financially in the fiscal year of 2025, we would see a contraction. Well, I was dead wrong. And I talked about this a while ago, I think a little over a month ago, and I was dead wrong. I'm dead wrong. Like, and I have no problem admitting it. I'm like the type of dude who can do that. It's called being an adult. Right? Like you don't see a lot of people doing that on YouTube either. They always want to be like, they always want to be right because they think if they're right, then, well, you're going to listen to them forever because the second they're wrong, you're going to go away. And that it's such a flawed, it's just a childish take. It's a really naive, childish take to think that somebody can be right all the time, no matter how much they research, no matter how into the project they are. Whatever it is out there, you're going to be wrong from time to time. You can't just hit every shot, you know, and that's how these guys, they construct everything, whether they're on a Star Citizen panel or they're on a podcast and you guys know what I'm talking about. You watch these podcasts and like all these guys want to be right all the time. It is so boring. It is so dated. It is such an old concept that I think was, you know, the idea of it's great, but when every guy wants to be the oracle, like the person that is always right, it is narcissistic, it is egotistic, and it is not helpful, you know? So I really get tired of that, seeing people that always have to be right. So like Damon. Stunner says, I think you were just in time with what Sig was seeing also and why they switched the tone this year to more of stability. I would like to see more stability. My constructive criticism is that at the very beginning of this year, I saw Benoit Bessiger with Jared talk about switching it back to first gear, talking about first principles, and we would see just a huge focus on stability. And frankly, I'm happy we've got all these new events, Hathor, Stormbreaker, and they're seeding in these events. We're going to talk about that later tonight. We're going to talk about these new events. We're going to get your feedback from the audience, what you guys think of the events. But this is the direction they're going. I think it's a good direction. I think there's a lot happening in the game right now, which is good. You're seeing more population in the game. But when I see this and I see people take this negatively, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's not rational. So there they go. I mean, they're way ahead of schedule here. They're in June. They're kicking ass at this rate. They're probably going to beat the record from last year or from the year prior. I mean, they were just shy by 1 million last year. If they keep pushing this way, they're at 70 million right now. And frankly, when you're backing a project and you see that kind of money, these are real people, real families, real work, and good for them. That's my take. I feel like that's just a rational adult take. That's my take. I think that anybody that kind of walks away with any other narrative is either naive or manipulating you because they want to monetize you and they don't, or they don't understand the business world. I'm having a blast playing this game right now. So I don't get it. I don't honestly, I just don't understand how you can have a negative take at all. I just don't get it. So